Hello, India. We seldom talk about the kids, those who are sitting at home taking distance education. Today we are doing that. Today we are joined by a very, very significant member, a very important member in Indian education system. He is responsible for imparting education to about 2.5 million students directly through the NIOS, that is the National Institute of Open Schooling. He is none other than the chairman, Professor Chandra Bhushan Sharma. Thank you so much, sir.
My privilege.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
So, sir, if we could just talk straight to the point, that how many years it has been that you are serving into the education system?
Oh, it has been 3 decades. I've been teaching for 3 decades. Although I have shifted my area, I started as an English teacher,
Okay.
but didn't really satisfy me.
Okay.
As somebody teaching English and teaching Wordsworth, Shakespeare, Milton, Keynes, I didn't find the relevance of it. It always came to my mind, how does it change lives? Lives must change
Absolutely.
because of education. So then I shifted to linguistics, that is language development. Language is key to learning. Language is the medium through which you access content.
Definitely.
But then I realized that, again, this is not the ultimate. We must be in education, because how schools function, how universities function,
Absolutely.
what is taught, how do our content, curriculum,
Getting deep into the system.
So finally I shifted to education, and for 2 decades now I have been a teacher of education, primarily teacher educator, policy planning in education, and trying to influence the policies in education as well as the processes of education.
Wow.
How schools function, how universities function, the selection in universities, and things like that. So my area now, you can say, is policy making in education and functioning, working of education right from KG to PhD.
Talking about it, Professor, then you have been serving into the education for the last 3 decades.
Yep.
Lot has changed. You have been into the policy making yourself. Are you satisfied the way the policies have been implemented? Do you want more policies to see the change? What are your views on that?
See, as an educationist, one can never be always satisfied.
Absolutely.
If I get satisfied and I believe everything is fine, I don't think things will change. Things must constantly change, and change for the better. So we need to evolve all the time, change things, influence things. Right since the independence, or even before that, we have many policies on education. After independence, we had the School Education Commission, Higher Education Commission, we had the Kothari Commission, which said so many things about education. Things have changed. Some more children have come to school. But if you ask me as an educationist, I'm not very satisfied. Every child must have got quality education, which is not happening. Every child should have got the best opportunity, depending upon his or her milieu and the capacity and capabilities, to get the best education he or she deserves. Like, we have about 20 million hearing impaired. What has the nation done for them? We should have done things as far as policy is concerned and practice is concerned to change their lives. Similarly, girls. It's only in the last 5-6 years that we have awoken to the fact that girls dropped out because there were no toilets in the school. How is it that a nation, 70-year-old, didn't realize that majority of the girls drop out because they don't have a toilet in the school? As an educationist, these are my concerns, and I want such things to change, policies to change, and ultimately every child must get quality education.
There's no doubt in it. So can you please tell us, if I can ask you this, that what are about 3 to 4 policies that you really think can work out for imparting the quality education that you're talking about?
See, one most important thing today is that we have single track school education. That means every child who comes to class 1 has one ambition to get into IIT. I have traveled across the country, talked to boys and girls. I was part of the initial national education policy when it was, we started working on it in 2015, girls told me in various states, let me tell you, Ranchi, Guwahati, I clearly remember these two places, girls told me, and they were girls from the elite school, given a chance, I would only like to dance, know about dancing, know about various forms of dance, and pursue a career in dancing. And I asked, what are you doing? She said, I am pursuing physics, chemistry, mathematics. I said, why? Because my parents want it. Now, there are two things about it. One is, there are no options available. And second is, there are no quality education available in, say, dancing, painting, and similar things. Now, a country of 1.3 billion should have many avenues. Every child is not really cut out to go into engineering or medical, or only 2-3 areas that we have thought of in 70 years. We should have got a school where archery was the primary objective and primary subject. We should have a school where dancing is primary, Kathak, Odissi, Kuchipudi. Girls naturally want to dance, they want to pursue that career, but we have not given that opportunity. We all the time crib a nation of 1.3 billion and we don't even get 5 gold medals in Olympics. Why? Because we never worked on it. Only recently, Khelo India has been introduced. Now there is an emphasis that in schools, in colleges, our children must play. What I would have liked to see, and that's your question, that there should have been multiple types of schools, autonomy and freedom to pursue a 10th, a secondary in archery, a secondary certificate in dancing. Why should we not tell the girl that, look, you have got the competencies in dancing that any other student has got in economics or physics. We should have developed content as theory and as practice and qualified girls or boys to say, I am a qualified dancer, secondary level dancer, senior secondary level dancer, and things like that. Similarly, you have 20 million hearing impaired. They are not really cut out to sit in a class and listen to lectures and pursue education. They should have been given tailor-made courses for them in areas where hearing impaired can excel. To conclude, we have not really thought about school education in independent India. Not much planning has been done. The simple reason is, for higher education you have a University Grants Commission,
Yes.
which designs, develops, thinks
Yes,
over
yes.
and all the time plans higher
Absolutely.
education. Are you aware of any school education commission?
No, I'm not.
There is not a body of professionals which thinks about school education, which plans about school education, which continuously works on it. We have the National Council for Education Research and Training. All said and done, it has not really performed as well as we should have
As per our expectations.
expectation. And then you have the CBSE, which is an examining body. It is not really a body which designs or makes policies. But because we have no other agency, no other body, the NCRT and the CBSE are all the time asked to do this.
Absolutely.
We should have created a professional body of educationists who should have worked continuously in the area of schooling. And that is the reason that nobody thought about various areas of education.
Absolutely.
And why should archery not be a subject in school education? And only then we will be able to catapult some of our learners to the global arena where they can excel in various areas.
100%.
And we are a country of 1.3 billion. So why not? So what I believe is there should have been a professional body like the University Grants Commission. We can call it the National School Commission.
Absolutely.
And with complete autonomy to decide on schooling. See, unfortunately, what
That's
is
a
happening
very
is...
good idea. That's
Yes.
actually something that we should definitely think about.
I'll tell you why I'm saying this. At the moment, the Secretary of the School Education in the state and Secretary of School Education and Literacy in the Ministry of Human Resource Development, they are the people who decide on the curriculum, the process. They are the people who sort of monitor CBSE, NCRT and all, school education bodies. They get changed every 1 year to 18 months.
Yeah, true.
Look at last 5 years, we had 5 secretaries of education. How can they do? They are not really professionals and not trained to understand education and make policies. We should have a
Fundamental
professional body.
problem here.
Like the Secretary of Higher Education in the ministry only helps the UGC coordinate with the government. Similarly, the Secretary of School Education and Literacy should coordinate with the government and the professional body, which can be called the School Education Commission, to get funding, to design, to take their policies to the parliament, get the bills approved, or
Absolutely.
make
Absolutely.
acts and things like that. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
2009 we passed the Right to Education Act. We have already amended it 3-4 times and it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working. Why did this happen?
I was about to come to that question. It's not working.
It's not working. So it should be amended. Who will do that? It has to be a group of
Educator.
educators.
Educators.
Which agency should do it? The National School Commission should work on it, talk to the principals, talk to the schools, and do that. I have raised these questions many times. We are going to have a national education policy very soon. I have talked to many principals across country. Not one principal was consulted. Who manages the school? Who knows children best? The principal of the school.
Absolutely.
The principal should have been the people to say what should change in schools. They were not consulted. All those who are the officers within court, the bureaucrats of education, they decided on how to do it. I have nothing against bureaucracy. I have nothing against bureaucracy.
Absolutely. It's
But
just that they were not proper educators.
they are not educators. They are not in the classroom.
Yeah.
Even I should claim that. I am not teaching in primary, so I can only be helpful to those who are in primary education, who go every day to the classroom, who meet children, face that every day. They should tell us what should change in primary education, what should change in secondary education, and the industry, which employs.
What I see the way we are talking right now, that you are ready for a good collaboration, where you are ready for taking inputs from each and every corner of the country, each and every person who is related to education.
Exactly. Those who are in the business of education, in the sense, right from
Preschools to high secondary.
senior secondary, as teachers, principals, we have consulted children, we have consulted parents. They are not the right agency. See,
Absolutely. True.
we keep giving example. You go to buy a frizz and you tell the shopkeeper, I want a red but with some flowers on it. That person will go and try and get you a frizz. You cannot come and tell me, I want a master's degree with 90%. I want to take admission for PhD and I want a PhD. I am the person, I am an educationist. I will assess you and tell you, you are fit for PhD or not. So this business of education is not buyer driven, it is seller driven. The institution decides who we will admit. The teacher decides who I will admit as PhD students, whether you are capable or not. Just because you have money and you have time and inclination to get a PhD degree, you cannot get admission. So we must understand this. We go and ask the children, what do you want? We go and ask the parents, what do you want? Every parent wants the child to be in the IIT. So should we gear our whole system to prepare every child for IIT? No.
No, not absolutely.
We have to decide what the nation wants, what the child is capable of, and accordingly offer that child to go for either physics, chemistry, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, or dancing, or vocational. Some children are not really made to go for academic courses.
Absolutely.
Why force them?
In that case, I must appreciate that NIOS under your leadership has taken a lot of vocational courses under the PPP model.
Yes.
Public-private partnership model. Can you, because it's a phenomenal initiative that is getting a very good response. Can you talk a bit about it?
See, the strength of distance education is numbers. The sort of numbers distance education can handle, traditional education cannot handle. We are an institution with 4.5 million learners, the largest institution of the world. Now, how do we do and do? We rely heavily on media. We have 5 television channels from the NIOS running 24 hours. We have radio channel, we have community radios, and we have network of radio broadcasting our program. So we reach out to millions. Distance education is geared to reach out to millions. But it should not be for the relevant age group. the child from 6 to 18 at the moment, and perhaps we are going to bring a change in the policy, from 3 to 18 the child must be in a school or preschool or wherever. Those who missed the opportunity, and there are millions who missed the opportunity in this country, for them we have distance education. Vocational, when you say, so many children dropped out because they didn't find the content relevant or the transaction relevant. They didn't see the relevance of that in their lives, so they did drop. Now some children are working in the area of carpentry, leather, garment making, and I must tell you, girls are in hair design and makeup.
Yeah.
And these are very popular courses.
Very
but
popular.
but where do we have the institution where they can go and pursue courses?
Can I interrupt
Yeah, please.
with a friend of mine? She's in Bombay and she's a hairdresser, and per sitting she charges about 65,000.
Exactly. Now, she charges 65,000 because there are very few in the market.
Yeah.
Let us produce 100,000 girls who would be able to do that job, and perhaps 1,000 would be excelling in that area and 100 would be national figures. But have we provided that?
No.
We are doing it. We have
Great
provided
initiative.
vocational courses through distance mode, and we make it cheap because we don't create infrastructure. We go and hire the existing infrastructure, either government or private or wherever, and using their infrastructure, we provide education. That's the model of distance education. So it becomes cheap. And also because of the numbers, because we have national catchment area, so our students are spread across country, we become the largest institution, so the cost
Absolutely.
is minimal. Distance education is good for those areas where you have spread, sparse population requiring it, like beauty culture. We have about 5,000 girls pursuing this, but from one town you may have only about 5 or 10. For 5 or 10 you cannot have a department, an institute established. So distance education works there. Let me give you the example of teacher education. 2017 the government woke up to the fact that there are about 15 lakh untrained teachers in the schools. And as per the Right to Education Act, they should all have been trained by 31st March 2015. We were given that job. In one go, in 18 months, we have trained from the National Institute of Open Schooling 13 lakh teachers.
Wow.
A achievement which no other institution of the world has done. No institution has trained this number, 13 lakh teachers
Under your
in one
leadership?
go. Team NIOS. I am one of them. Yes, thank you.
I sincerely will say why. Sir, here I really want to ask you this question. So when this came towards you, there's a huge challenge to do this in a very short period of time. It's something, again, the students need to learn. That when they get into NIOS, there's a syllabus that they need to complete. Like you did it. Why I'm comparing it, perhaps you will understand as an educator. How did you handle that?
There are two things. I had complete autonomy in designing the course, imparting the course.
Okay, that's
Most of the times there is so much interference. Nobody will interfere and have his or her ideas. I must thank all those who gave the National Institute of Open Schooling this opportunity. We were given complete freedom and autonomy to run the program.
Great job.
And we were given 4 television channels, the direct-to-home DTH channels on the Swayam Prabha bouquet to broadcast our programs. I must also share something.
Yeah, sure.
It's complete online program, not a single page was printed for this training. We had the content on the MOOC platform, the Swayam of India, the Swayam platform of India, and 4 television channels were broadcasting lectures 24 hours, so that reached to all households. Exactly, this is the strength of distance education. You can reach out to large numbers now
Through vocational
through
training.
vocational training as well. We need a large number of hairdressers, and they are looking for job, but they don't have the training. We can combine both.
Absolutely.
We have not used the media, the mass training
Absolutely.
infrastructure for preparing. skilling we have been doing since 2014 when the Modi government came to power, and the emphasis is on training and skilling.
Absolutely.
But we should try and use the distance education, the media and technology.
So if I could ask you, what are the top 5 vocational training that actually you are catering to and the demand is very high?
First is health workers.
Health worker.
Health workers. We have already trained 50,000 health workers in Bihar and in rest of the country. We have signed a contract with the Bihar government, and we have promised to train 4 lakh health workers, what we normally call as Jhola Chhap.
Jhola Chhap.
They are the grassroots workers who have no training, who have no education, but they somehow become health workers in the village.
और इनकी education qualification कुछ होना चाहिए, because I
yes see, we don't expect them to be professional. So they are only there to help somebody who falls ill to find out whether it's a heart problem or blood pressure or sugar or whatever, and then reach them or bring them to the health center. But because they are not trained, they have no idea, they make a mess of the patient. So what we are doing is, in 1 year, we are imparting them the basic techniques to find out what is the problem with the person, the patient, and reach that patient to the nearest health center.
The second vocational one?
Second vocational one is of agriculture.
Okay.
See, we
Krishi.
have Krishi.
Krishi.
80% of India's population still is depending upon agriculture. And most people are involved in that work, but they don't understand, they don't know. They want to know, but then we insist that you will have to come to a school, join a school, and then pursue education, then only we will be able to do a certificate or diploma. And it's unfortunate that agriculture is not a subject in school education.
Yes.
We have introduced it from the National Institute of Open Schooling. Now, if somebody is destined to go for agriculture as a profession, why should one not study right from class 1 or 2 about agriculture, seed, breeding,
Absolutely.
all that, water conservation? And by the time one passes senior secondary, one understands agriculture and says, okay,
Very
I know,
true.
I'm fit to become an agriculturist.
What the third one?
Third one I will say is vocations for girls. See, we have 50% population of women and girls. We have no tailor-made program for them. There are so many things they want to do. Besides that, with all this, we should have games, sports as a subject. Every child must take part. There are so many children in our country who have great competencies for certain sports, but because we don't give them that opportunity, they don't excel. So let us start right from class 1 or 2, and by the time they are in 4th, 5th, they should bifurcate into pure academics, sports, agriculture, vocational. By the time they come to class 8, they have decided, I want to become a drummist. I want to join
That's your dream? That's how you
Yes.
want the education system
But
to
what
go?
we do by the time one comes to class 8, one is 14 years, we have already told them,
IIT.
either you will study physics, chemistry, maths, or you are good for nothing. We should prepare children right from class 2, 3, that look, if you can
Cut the
design hair so well, you are the best.
What's the fourth one?
There can be many. I think
Three are the top.
Three are the
Okay.
top.
Okay.
Top would be to put people to, or provide students courses which will give them employment, which will make them useful. They can run their family, they can earn for their family. That is very important.
ये मैं पर्टिकुलरली हिंदी में भी बोलना चाहूँगी कि अगर आपके आसपास आप किसी को देख रहे हो जिनको वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग की ज़रूरत है और वो कम लागत में एक बहुत अच्छा ट्रेनिंग ले सकते हैं घर बैठे, देन प्लीज़ डोंट हेजिटेट, गो टू द NIOS
Website, yes.
and you will get all the necessary information there. Now, coming to some of our last conversation, and it's such an engrossed and informative for our viewers as well as for us, that do you think that, because we have already talked about education system in detail, but the ideas or the policies are somewhere not implemented because there is no autonomy. So what are your thought process about that?
One, I will say we should have an independent body, which I have already mentioned.
Yes.
We should plan and put the policies before the nation. The second, I will say, give autonomy to schools, give autonomy to principals. Let us select best people as principals and let them run the school. We fought for a school management committee, but unfortunately, the sort of people who have been put in the school management committee, I have talked to principals, they have made principal and into a chaprasi. The principal is all the time scared how to manage the school management committee. We must rethink the school management committee. The principal must be the center, the nucleus, the boss of the school. Again, I will repeat, select the best person as the principal and give the school the autonomy. But like we have in many nations, don't make regular inspections. Let there be inspectors who will be visiting schools but unannounced. Let them arrive in the school, look at the processes and give a report. Unfortunately, we are an inspector-driven country. We should not do that, but then there should be independent agency. We should be watching the schools and giving parents, children, the right for which they have come to school.
Are there
As consumers.
Are there any independent agencies right now?
See, there are many independent agencies assessing a school, accrediting a school, giving certificate, but that's not in the government domain. Government really doesn't take note of it. Like in higher education, you have the NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council of India. But in school education, there is no such body. And if we have the School Education Commission, within it, there can be an assessment body or assessing body which is independent and works independently, which is not really inspector driven, which has to work in tandem with the school. Let the school function autonomously, only then they would be able to excel. If we have one platform for all, one guidelines for all, how would they excel? Let them experiment, let them do things, let the principal decide what he or she wants the school to be like. Do that and excel, and then praise that teacher, their principal, sing that, and then only we can have a competitive, vibrant school system.
Great. We are coming to the last two questions now left for you. The first of the last question is that you have seen changes, you have dreams, you have a vision. In the coming decade, how do you see that, whether it's a distance education, whether it's a normal schooling, how do you see the change coming in this particular age group of 3 to 18? I've been very precise here, 3 to 18, because that's the most important age group for any developing country.
Yes, unfortunately, since independence, school was never the focus of education. We had overemphasis on higher education, technical education. That is why we have the IITs, IIMs and all that. Let us shift to school education, and we will always have a problem of good teachers. Let us put overemphasis on preparing teachers. Unfortunately, the National Council for Teacher Education, since its establishment in 1995, has not really been able to do a very good work. We should have a complete revamping of NCTE, which again should be run by professionals who understand teacher education and bring about changes. Somehow we have 92% colleges in private sector, 6% aided, and only 2% public institution in teacher education. I don't want to say more on that because I think we all understand what's happening. Teacher education is primary. Let us prepare good teachers. Once you have good teachers who understand education, they would be able to make classrooms vibrant. They would be able to do teaching which children would enjoy. One. Second, all said and done, we will not have the same quality of teachers across country. So, we should use media more and more. I must congratulate Smriti Irani ji, who started the Swayam Prabha bouquet of DTH channels. We have 33 channels now running, imparting or bringing good lectures to the classrooms. We must use this extensively across country so that the best teachers reach the last school of the country, where otherwise teachers won't go and teach. So let us collect best teachers, record their lectures and reach the best lectures to the schools across country So two things: prepare good teachers and use technology to reach the quality education
farthest
to
of the
all the learners across the country.
Absolutely. And the last question, sir. We are really thankful that you have given your time to Entab.
My privilege. Thank you.
But what are your thoughts about the initiative that Entab has taken for bringing all the educators like you, educators like principals, chairmen, into one platform so that we discuss about the ideas, come out with a solution?
I think it's a very great initiative. Many organizations are doing this. India is a large country.
Absolutely.
So I congratulate you for doing this and reaching out the views of educationists to all concerned. We should try and reach out to more and more, because ideas are important in education.
Absolutely.
And no one person has all the ideas. When you bring various people and various ideas, perhaps this will influence the policy makers, the government, because government is very important in education. Government makes the policies finally. So I must congratulate you for doing this job and bringing the views of the educationists for all.
I must thank you for bringing so much of information into one platform today, and I'm really lucky that I had the privilege to have this great conversation with you.
My privilege entirely.
But
Thank you
before
very
we
much.
even end up, we really want your autograph to be very much intact in our mind, and we feel your blessing around us all the time. This is the place.
Okay.
Thank you so much again for giving us your valuable time.
My privilege entirely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good time.
Thank you.